Hi, welcome back to Deadly Affirmations, the video novel. Today we're going to read the third part of chapter 10 and finish that chapter up. If you're ready, we'll go visit Wheezy and Detective Williams and Patience Murphy. Here we go. Wheezy's friend Charlotte had called and invited her to their favorite Chinese place, Mr. Dragon's new Golden Noodle Palace. It didn't have a great name, but the food was good, cheap, and plentiful. The two friends loved this restaurant because they could order the special, eat a hearty meal, and have enough left over, including the fortune cookie and egg roll, for a couple of dinners. Charlotte always ordered the chicken chow mein with egg drop soup, and Wheezy always chose corn chicken soup with an order of house chow fun, a little shrimp, a little beef, a little pork, and a little chicken, along with the rice noodles and wonderful sauce. The two friends had their soup and a bite or two of the main course along with their tea, and then packed up the rest of the meal for tomorrow's dinners. Detective Williams worked late that evening. He ordered a pizza around 5:30, realizing that he would be at it for a while longer. It came with a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Fago, a Dr. Pepper ripoff, delivered by Bozak, a chubby little guy in his mid-20s, wearing a nearly worn-out wife-beater with Hatchet Man tattooed on his right arm and his hair braided with rubber bands into lots of tiny pigtails. Bozak's mother, Mamalo, opened a pizza shop nearest the police station when she got out of the county jail a few years back. She gave all of the jobs to her kids and made a decent living for them all. Whoop whoop, Bozak smiled and hooted as he brought the pizza and Fago into Williams' office. Thanks, Bozak. Williams smiled and returned and handed the young man a $20 bill. Keep the change. MMFWCL killer, Bozak said and turned to leave the office. Detective Williams got back to work and nibbled on a slice or two of pizza, thin crust with pepperoni that tasted like summer sausage on cardboard, until he had had enough. He decided to go home and drink more than a few beers. On his way out the back door of the station, Williams tossed the pizza box, still 3/4 full of uneaten pie, at the dumpster in the alley. He missed, and the box tottered on the edge, opened, and spilled its contents onto the pavement. A mangy dog came up, smelled the pizza, tilted his head and thought for a moment, and then lifted his hind leg and pissed all over the pizza. "You got that right, pup," Williams said, and got into his car. After dinner, Patience sat down in the living room with her new project. She had complimented Wheezy on the cute knit hats that Wheezy made and gave away, and Wheezy had given her one, and another little gift, a skein of wool and 2 old knitting needles. The wool was chunky merino wool, shocking pink, that Wheezy had wound into a skein when she had given it to Patience. She had also shown Patience how to cast on the beginning 38 stitches and then do 2 rows of knitting 2 stitches, then purling 2 stitches, then knitting 2 stitches, then purling 2 stitches until she came to the end of the row, and then reversing it all and purling 2 stitches, then knitting 2 stitches, then purling 2 stitches, then knitting 2 stitches. Wheezy had sent her off to do it on her own after Patience had completed 3 rows of this pattern. The knitting needles were ones that Wheezy had used when she was learning how to knit as a girl from her grandmother, and they were made of plastic, Bakelite, Wheezy said, about 10 inches long. Gauge 8, Wheezy said. Before she started on the knitting, Patience walked over to the kitchen and poured herself a mug of coffee, and on the way back to her comfy chair in the living room, stopped at the stereo to find some music on the satellite radio. She fiddled for a few minutes and found a Warren Zevon retrospective. She smiled at the opening lines of Renegade. Some prayers never reach the sky, some wounds never heal. Ain't that the truth, Patience said to herself as she set down her mug, snuggled into the big old chair, and started in, needles gently working together. Knit 2, purl 2.